Hello, everyone. It's a video game choo-choo podcast. My name is Scott. I'm here with my buddy. I gotta write this down. I'm here with my buddy Maverick, who is also a video gamer, just like me. We're big gamers, aren't Maverick? Are you a big gamer? How much you gaming lately?
Dog, real life has been hitting my ass. I'm not a gamer this week.
Okay, well, what you sipping on?
Some water.
You got water? Here we go. Can check. Dr. Pepper Zero.
Also got some El Yucatero hot sauce.
Oh, you're gonna do a sip live, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go ahead.
Go for it. Bro, that's a big swig. Oh my god.
The joke is that I only got a little bit.
And here we go, gripping it and ripping it. Matt, are you ready to do a video game podcast?
Yeah, I'm ready. Getting reports that we got a big win for Brock Lesnar.
It's so true. Thank you, Brad Ward Live in the chat, for notifying us about the big win for Brock Lesnar. If you're listening to this on the podcast feed, we are live today on twitch.tv/VGCC, which you haven't followed us there, go please do it. You can subscribe to if you want. Only if you really want to. And if you're in the chat today, sorry I turned sound alerts off. So my bad. I still haven't updated them from the Game of the Year thing. I need to go and do that.
I will robbing me of my applause. Come on.
I'm sorry. We need to have this is a clean professional experience. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and talk about some video games we've been playing. And you have put here on our conversation topic doc that you didn't play shit. Is that correct?
All that I have played is more like a Dragon Ishin. And when I mean played more like a Dragon Ishin, I mean I do not know anything else about that fucking plot. Because all I've been doing is farming and playing dungeons.
Of course, yeah.
So I'm making an executive decision. I am tabling like a Dragon Ishin, because that is all I'm gonna do until I'm forced to think about this game for like Game of the Year. It's not even gonna be. That's the other part. I know this game isn't gonna be like anywhere in my fucking eventual 2023 list.
Really? Interesting.
It's not a bad game. It is a dated game.
Sure, it makes a lot of sense.
It's the fact that this came out because people clamored enough for it, and I like the idea that, you know, the community is able to get this together, get this going, but like it really just shows a lot of its age. Again, like we talked about this last week when I initially brought it up, and the fact that like right within the next year you're going to get Yakuza 0, which takes a lot of those ideas and simplifies, perfects, hones in on everything in a way that, you know, basically gave the Like a Dragon series its prominence within like the last like 5-7 years. Like it's easy to see, and again, like rules that we have this available, but also if you pass this one up, I don't blame you, because there is Yakuza 8. There's the other Kiryu side story that I'm sure will also be its own like novel experience, because it's going to be filling in some details from other games that like if I'm wanting to be excited about the Like a Dragon series, there is stuff available for me. This was very much, I want to try it out. Let me see how it goes, because I knew that I wanted to get it. And because like I'm not trying to like, notice how I'm not saying I am done playing it definitely, like
of
this
course
will be the last time that I play it. Like, no, I know that I'm going to come back to it. But it's not for the story, because I know fuck all about what Sakamoto Ryoma and the Shinsengumi are doing right now. You kidding
Of course,
me?
yeah.
I don't know shit about that. But I am tabling that to be able to get to the rest of my games that I want to get to, because there is a lot coming out that, you know, I'm not entirely sure about. There's also stuff that I'm still tabling, like on my Switch. Right here, physically, I got. You know what I got?
What you got?
I got start the software. Ugh.
Are you gonna show your
God.
Switch to the stream to the screen?
I'm gonna show it. I'm
Okay,
rarely
cool.
on camera.
You're
I'm
utilizing the live stream perspective here, and I respect it.
We're doing live. We're
Exactly.
doing as most live. It's Kirby in the Forgotten Land.
Of course, yeah. There it is. You forgot all about that place.
Because I didn't play it at all last year. So I want to catch up on that, but then
Fair.
I haven't done that because I've been too busy farming and going through dungeons.
Fair. It is what it is.
And then, like, my curse is that there are too many RPGs for me that I want to play.
Of course, yeah.
Because right after this, I also have... Oh, God, why is this loading up?
What are you booting up?
I don't know. Why did I boot that up? Folks, we're having a fun time here at Video Game Choo Choo.
It's always a fun
as
time.
I figure out real quick why this is going on. Let me just
yeah. What I sort of understand about the Yakuza games as someone who like is a bit of an outsider is like after Yakuza 0, a lot of those Yakuza 0 and Yakuza 6, I believe, was the one that came right after it. Like all of those older games, including the like Kiwami remakes, were like harder to go back to. Like from what I understand, Kiwami like cleaned up the first 2 games pretty well. As soon as you jump to like Yakuza 3 or something, it is a stark contrast.
Yeah, I mean, I say this as someone that finished both the original one on the PS2 and Kiwami one. I feel like, again, there's things that Kiwami one does that are fun and inventive. Things that one does that, like, it's such a breakthrough for what it's going for that, while not the most... Like it shows its age still, but then there's still things that are, like, inventive. I mean... US Yakuza 1 is the only place that you're going to have that dub available. And that's going to be like, for all the good and the bad that it is still notable and something that you'd want to like preserve. Kiwami 2, I'm still half and half on because of the fact that it uses the Dragon engine, and that engine shows its age. It really like has difficulty, but other than that, yeah, like I haven't touched 3, 4, or 5. But no, it's like if I really have to, like, the Yakuza series is something that's always going to be in the periphery, and I'm always going to have time to like get to it. And there's just already other things between. Right now, I'm looking to play like One Piece Odyssey because I rented that, and that's for me as like the One Piece. Like all I'm hearing is like 1. Pretty good JRPG. 2, if you're a fan of the series, it's gonna have fun little reminders of everything. All right, let me have some time with that. Let me mess around with that. But then I still got to try out Wo Long. I got to try out Wild Hearts. I got to try out all these other things that are coming out, and then I already have my own expected like time sinks between Tears of the Kingdom, Final Fantasy 16. I'll probably try out, and then. There's another Trails game on the horizon, which I'm still trying to do my ill-fated attempt to catch up on the entirety of the series, which I haven't even started that, really. So
I did try Wo Long. I didn't put it down on the dock because I really didn't get very far. But
no, that's fair enough.
It was one of those moments where I love the Neo games. I think they're very excellent Souls-likes. Every single time I play one of those, I need to at least dedicate like a non-insignificant amount of brain power to relearning them because they have like very unique controls, and I like go out of my way to remap the controls to like fit what feels more natural to me. And like when it comes to Wo Long, it's like, oh, not only am I like doing the Neo thing where I have to relearn it, I have to learn pretty much an entirely different system on top of it. and it's like, oh, this is taking up too much brain power for me. I really want to go back and play it because it seems extremely fucking cool. But
Yeah, it seems neat. I hear that it, like, of the various comparisons you can make, it's like if Koei Tecmo tried to do Sekiro, which Sekiro is one that clicked for me. Like, that is the FromSoft game that made me understand, like, it was Sekiro into Dark Souls 2. I know it's Scholar of the First Sin or whatever, but whatever. Like,
it's fine. It's valid.
Yeah. Depending on the circles you run, I guess, but
look, listen to me, as someone who is a strong Dark Souls 2 defender, who loves Dark Souls 2, like, Scholar's fine. Like,
all right,
most people are gonna play it as their first time with Dark Souls 2. Like, I can't go and tell someone, hey, you know, vanilla, I like vanilla a lot better, so if you're gonna play it, like, just go on Amazon and try and find, like, an original vanilla key or something, or play the PS3 version. Like, it's just not gonna happen. Like, Scholar's fine. Like,
it got me into Scholar, it got me into Bloodborne, it got me into Elden. Like, I at least have a familiarity thanks to Sekiro. So when you're telling me something is immediately wanting to harp on that style, I am interested. It looks funky as fuck. And the last time that Lorelei talked about it, like, she really sold the fact that, oh, people kind of, like, you know, since she is just the genius of Muso games,
of course,
and Neo likes. But yeah, like, those are on the docket. One game I did try to play, and I was really eager to see if I could get this set up and I'd be able to talk about it on the podcast, was have you ever heard of the game PangYa?
No.
Okay. PangYa is an old Korean golf MMO.
Okay. All right, I'm interested.
So, literally, like, old setup of just, like, you create your character, which, like, you have a not even create a character. It's like from that era where it's like, here is your set list of templates that you can choose from, and then you have to, like, use, like, the in-game currency to buy other templates,
right?
Because those are essentially your character slots, and you can customize them however you want. It lives in the corner of my memory in terms of, like, me, like, 2004 to 2007, actively using the family computer for games when I actively shouldn't have, and it's the reason why we needed to upgrade to, like, a MacBook that is now like slowly on its own last legs in other ways, but it's all right. It still works for what it needs to. Like, I'm not there anymore, so I'm not able to, like, be a menace to it. And then my little sister has her own PC at this point.
Right.
But I wanted to try that out again because I found out that there's a debug mode that essentially, like, the community has been able to resurrect the game through a debug version that unlocks everything. You have, like, the max amount of money. Like, the only thing they have to earn are, like, coins through playing to do, like, the gacha stuff. And then they also patch in a lot of other stuff. So much fun, you know. Oh my god, this seems so cool. I could, like, relive those old memories of trying to play on a shitty internet connection that was not wired, that ran slow as hell, and I actively had to, like, turn the PC off completely so that my parents didn't know that I was playing the game. Like, well, I was using it to play games during, like, other when they weren't around. And I wanted to get that set up, and
mine real quick was the Escape Velocity games. There's also this game, I cannot remember for the life of me what it's called, but it was on like a very early version of floppy disk that was sort of like it was sort of like the offshoot of flop. You know how, like, VHS had, like, beta cassettes as the sort of, like, oh, here are,
the competitor.
Like, here's the competitor that's technically better, but it doesn't catch on. There was, like, a version of that for floppy disks. I think they were called
to floppies.
Yeah, I think they were called zip disks is what they were. But But I played this, like, old, like, very D&D style, like, fantasy RPG on it that, like, thinking back on it, definitely sucked ass. But it was the kind of one of those kind of games where, like, you turn it on and it turns your cursor into, like, a little gauntlet, You
Yep.
know, the sickest type of game.
Oh yeah.
And like it was a game where you made a party, and like it was all people you came up with, but they all had like different classes and like different portraits you would assign to them. Cannot remember anything about this game other than like you walked around on tiles, and then occasionally you would hit a tile with a skeleton on it that would fucking annihilate you, and then it was game over. Uh,
Awesome. That's all you need.
it's the exact perfect. It is literally, thinking back on it, it's like the most seminal formative game for me.
No, that's fair. That tracks as like Scott core.
I have to look this up. I'm so no. Tell me more about PangYa. I'm gonna try and see if
So
I
no,
can
like
figure this out.
it's like if you at least were familiar with like Mario Golf, you could easily transition that into PangYa or like a Hot Shots Golf. It was in that style of game. I know that at some point it had a console version that you might have seen advertised as like Super Swing Golf. If you saw that ever floating around on like a used shelf on GameStop, that was basically like the same DNA, but just formatted for console. But I go ahead and I try and think like, okay, let me try and download this. I wanna mess around with this. So you needed to download the what is it? The patch or like the base game. There's an additional like debug control panel that you have to download, and then like additional. It's like 3 separate like zip files that you have to download, and then extract specifically in like either your local disk or wherever else. Just to get it all up and running. But the issue is that the debug patch, for whatever reason, tripped my firewall as like a Trojan, and it's
That's
like
always fun.
why and I'm going around because like other people are been able to like do whatever and like still operate the game, and I'm just like, why is that happening? And so I try and get it set, like I'm just like, ignore, it's fine, and eventually I like get the game running for maybe 5 minutes where I notice my computer is acting slower than I'd like, and I don't know why. I'm gonna
Cool.
delete
All right.
this. I'm gonna also take the time to just get a few things that I wasn't already using on for whatever reason, like a DaVinci Resolve. And technically, my copy of Premiere still works, so I don't have to worry about that yet. Away with you, Ableton. I'm not using Ableton right now. I don't have a reason to mix and master. Away with you. Vocaloid Studio. I am not in my producer era yet. Away with you. Just freeing up some
Eventually.
space. Yeah, and eventually I try and think like, okay, let me just like mess around with Game Pass. Let me see what's on there because I saw Strive was on there or something.
Mm-hmm.
There is something going on where I cannot access gaming services. And when I tried to find ways to fix that, where there was like this period where I deleted the PangYa stuff and I like, defragmented and everything, and my computer was running all right. I noticed the gaming services stuff and I try and fix that. Immediately, my computer's back into a point where it's like, oh, it is difficult to operate this right now. It's not like fully busted, but where my line of work currently has me needing to operate at least like a few tabs on my web browser, and then also like handle a few Zoom calls. Maybe have to also have like additional like office programs like running in the background as well. Like that was starting to make it chug, and I'm just in the back of my head thinking, Jesus Christ, why did I do this? But I am using this as an optimistic turn to say that I am trying to get a new PC. I'm trying to build a new PC.
I believe in you. I'm trying so hard to find this, and like just searching like zip disk games, iMac games. I'm now back into the unfortunate Google hole of 10 best role playing games for Mac, like the worst listicles you can imagine. So
Perfect.
it's fallen off.
Many are asking, what are the top 10 gaming applications on Mac?
I found a couple of them. One of them is called like Sanctuary. Another one is called Ravenloft, and I looked up both of them, and like neither. It was not either of them.
Ravenloft sounds familiar.
Ravenloft does sound familiar, is the thing, but it definitely was not that game.
Yeah, but no, like long story short, I'm trying to get a new PC. I'm trying to get a friend to help me build it. So
I've heard like we're now in the era of like some pre-builts actually being cheaper than like building a PC itself, but that tends to go on like the high end where like a lot of the biggest, most expensive graphics cards just sort of have a price cutoff if you're getting like a pre-built with like a really great graphics card in it. I don't know if that's the route you're going on, but
so
like
currently currently the items that I want to purchase from Micro Center are held ransom,
of course,
because in order to do this I also said, fuck it, my credit is good, let me get a new credit card.
There you go.
And just put that all there. Yeah, genuinely, like it maybe took me like in the last 2 years to actually get a credit card, because I avidly avoided that shit.
Smart.
I don't go for that. The one that I do have, I don't even know if this is legal to say, but fuck it. Like basically lives at my parents' house.
Here are the numbers that I have on it, and here are the 3 on the back.
Yeah. If you want to try out and see what you can do on that card, or maybe pay me off. But no, like essentially that lives at home because like my parents have always been like, dude, we can just help you build your credit because technically we aren't able to. So that helps out. But no, this one for me, I'm going to at least see, tomorrow I'm going to walk up there. And if my card is still technically declined because it isn't activated or whatever, I'm going to put on the other card and then just transfer that balance over once I know that I have it.
Right.
And then pay that off in my 0% APR period.
There you go.
Because of that, I found out that credit card YouTube exists.
Oh no. What's on credit card YouTube?
Credit card YouTube is people actively like talking about the best credit cards to use, doing active reviews on what that looks like, what bonuses you can get. It is so
no.
Because the other thing I didn't realize is like,
it.
yeah, no, like
there's a huge hole of like research that needs to be done like when it comes to credit cards. So I understand the utility of a credit card.
Yeah, no, exactly. I said because I'm like, okay, the wording on a lot of this stuff is really, really whack. And even if I like sit there and actively go through every single piece of terms of service, I still feel like an idiot trying to like deduce that. So I'm thinking maybe there's someone like out there that could just like break it down for me.
Right.
And what you get are videos upon videos of people saying, here's the Chase Freedom Flex versus the Chase Freedom Reserve. What are the differences?
Oh, God.
Here's why you need these 3 in your Chase Trifecta. And it's like, my eyes glaze over a little bit until I can find the information that's like, oh yeah, no, like basically nowadays cards have a built-in thing where you don't have to pay any additional interest until a set like grace period, which that's all I needed to know, because that is essentially my due date to like pay off whatever it is I need to pay off. And then from there, it's just, oh, well, maybe I'll use this for groceries for a month and then fucking pay that. Like, I know the way to be smart about it, but it's like, I am making a big purchase right now. And I know that like one, it's going to need a paycheck and like a 10th to pay off, and I don't want to do that now because I have a vacation coming up.
Right.
But also, like, if I do want to do this, I want to do this in a way that isn't just gonna like fuck me up. But ultimately, what is living in the United States if not having to choose between like a rock and a hard place at all times?
Let me tell you something that's bullshit as a Chase Sapphire preferred member. Is that how like airports have like all those different lounges for like people who like that are just owned by different banks? You know what you should be able to do is, if you have a credit card like that, you should be able to go to one of those. But no, it costs like $500 a month to be a member in one of those. It's like some fucking absurd price just to have a spot in an airport to sit down.
And see, that's what I looked at too, because I consider, I'm like, is this like, because again, in my idiot gamer brain, I'm sitting here looking at credit cards and it's like, what is like the S tier? What is the B tier? Because I don't know.
bro, this credit card is A tier, but it's pushing ass. It can compete with Meta.
Low tier card.
Low tier. Oh, trust me, I know a lot of low tier cards, buddy. Don't ever go to credit one.
But like that's the thing. Like I in my assumptions, for the fact that I like the closest I touch this shit is, oh, now that paying 4 or like paying multiple installments is the thing I can do just on my debit card, I can like I actively push that shit because it's like, yeah, no, like I may not have $50 right now, but by the time that 4 weeks is up, I will have paid $50. Like, is it still stupid? Yes, but it's stupid in the way that I like still makes sense to me. Because once you hit credit, like that is next level stupid.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm still looking at ways to fucking invest, because then how can I poison myself even more?
Yeah,
is what I'm looking at this point.
That's sort of like the dark fury that you don't really want to look too deeply into.
I don't want to, but
when you're observing this void.
It's the fact that like just remembering, right, my parents don't have the ability to like push for retirement. They like we at some point are gonna have to figure that out, which they have a plan already, but it's like I need to figure stuff out for me too, because yeah, I don't fucking know. But
I have one perk that I use for my credit card, and it's that my Chase Sapphire Preferred card has unlimited Dash Pass.
Oh my god.
I have to pay with that card. So, if I want to utilize my ability to have free food deliveries, I just need
to pay that eventually.
I had to pay that card and then max it out again.
Yeah.
I'm just using it for food. Whatever. Hey, I'm like $600 away from paying off my car. I'm like, that is like one huge monthly payment, like, done for me.
No, there you go. Again, like this is like the one purchase I'm expecting to do. And then the future of that card is just going to be like, I'm feeling lazy about picking up groceries. Let me put that in there. And then like realistically, that'll just be where all of my subscriptions live.
Right.
And then I'll just like whittle that down or like manage it in a way where it makes sense. But
your Game Pass subscription is of course going to go there. And you know what?
Yeah.
I'm ready to talk about some video games, Maverick.
Let's talk about some video games. I've managed to bullshit for long enough.
Yeah, so I finished Resident Evil 4 Remake. A lot of what I talked about last week, which you
heard.
You heard all of course.
I did hear all of it.
You went back and listened.
I went back and listened. Yeah.
A lot of what I like said on that episode still kind of stands. Okay, well there he goes. But like I think the big thing about it that I want to talk about is that like it makes some like interesting creative decisions with its story, like in terms of like which characters wind up where and what happens to them. And it like I like its characterization of Ashley way more than the original, because like Ashley throughout the original game is very much just like a prop the entire time. Like she doesn't really have that much characterization. But like throughout the course of this game, they do a really good job of making her way more of an active character. She starts out incredibly like freaked out, but then like over the course of it, she gets very confident and very like full of herself, and she goes like full gremlin mode. And it's like, yeah, that's great. That is an awesome way to characterize this person. And then it turns into this like sort of subplot about Ashley like feel like wanting to genuinely partner with Leon and like wanting to be better friends with him, and wanting to be a more active participant in this than just like the person that is shadowing Leon the entire time. And it's not like those aspects of Ashley's character didn't exist in the original. It's just that like they're amplified really well in this. And not to get, it's a game from 2005, I think, or 2007. I don't remember the original. 2005. Yes, it's 2005 because it says Resident Evil 4 2005 in Steam. But like the plot of the game though doesn't substantially change. Like they add more elements to it, but they don't make any major bold swings. So all of the elements, like all of the major plot beats stay the same. And it's like throughout, I guess, like spoilers for Resident Evil 4. Like at the end of the original Resident Evil 4, Ada gives you a rocket launcher to kill the big main bad guy. And it's like because like, you know, she's there the whole time. She's like shadowing you. She's got her own thing going on. But at the end, she swoops in and she gives you the tool to help out, because it's the callback to Resident Evil 2 where she does that as well. And I keep thinking throughout the entire time I'm playing this game, you know what would be really cool is where they have this characterization of Ashley, where she wants to be way more of an active participant. She wants to help out way more. What if at the end of this game, Ada isn't the person who throws you the rocket launcher? They do like a cool little twist that doesn't really like substantially change things. What if Ashley throws you the rocket launcher instead? I think that would be pretty cool. They even have like a scene leading up to it where Ada gets like a lot of stuff going on. She's like helping you thematically throughout the final boss fight. And then at the very end, Ada gives you the rocket launcher. And it's like, man, they had a chance to take like the smallest bold swing to do like a cool reinterpretation of this story and its characters, and they just don't take it. And it's like, it's so disappointing because for all the things that this game changes, it's still very deeply faithful to the original. And it's like,
right.
No, go ahead.
I figure again, like there's sort of this like focus on the fact that RE4 Remake really is a like, it is constantly saying, yeah, no, this is pretty cool. You know what else is pretty cool? Resident Evil 4, the original.
Yeah.
And like in no way is it trying to be like,
it's not trying to like overwrite the original at all. Like both still exist. The original RE4 is still like one of the best selling games of all time. You can buy it on literally any platform. It's not going
but in
anywhere.
That way, it's sort of like, you know, we will stay to that track to an extent, and one of those is ultimately going to be like, you know, this finale is so climactic and like cool as hell. Let's boost what we can do with it. But yeah, probably the conversation wasn't what can we do to reinterpret that.
Yeah, no, it's this thing of like, it's doing a really cool, interesting theme with Ashley. And sorry, one sec, let me mute my mic.
Right, like what it seems to be like is there's much more for, because again, even without playing the game, all that I know about of Ashley like boils down to Leon, help me, Leon, help. Played by Cindy Vortex, big ears, that guy that really like was sad that she didn't like chastise you for looking up her skirt or something. Like,
she doesn't call you a pervert in this one.
Yeah.
She's also weirdly a tiny mouse in this one. I don't know what's going on with that, but she's 3 apples tall. She's cheese to meet you. She keeps running into these little mouse traps that have cheese on them, and you have to be like, Ashley, no.
Ashley's in the glue trap. Mouse Ashley in the glue trap. Just a synchronization of two separate memes.
But no, it's like they're going for a really interesting theme with this character, and like there's a very like in the grand scheme of things, an extremely minor thing that they could change that would like be very substantial to Ashley and her character. That would solidify the remake as its own story,
right?
In an interesting way. And they just don't do it. And it's like, it's super disappointing. Because it's like, I see this coming from like a mile away. And it's like, this would be so cool if you did this. And then I guess that's just
No,
me
that's
complaining.
totally
It's just me complaining
totally
about
fair.
something they decided not to do. And
You're
like,
complaining that you're complaining that like the slam dunk didn't also have an alley oop attached to it.
something like that, yeah. It's still
Like you
it's
hit the home
fine.
run, but why didn't you break the bat when you hit it?
It's it's a game that feels like very faithful to a fault, you know? Like
Right.
for as many like changes as it makes, it doesn't make any changes that are like remarkably substantial to the story. I think it makes like one, but ultimately it's just like it's changing the time and the circumstances through which one character goes through a thing they're going to go through no matter what. And that's it.
Right.
And it like it recontextualizes it in an interesting way, but like it doesn't change anything majorly. I don't know. It's very silly. It's fine. It's a fun version of that game. Um, I still think like if you're gonna play it, maybe play the original or something. If you're that interested, they both
Do
exist.
both.
It,
Yeah.
it has never been a better time to play Resident Evil 4. There are
Many people are saying this.
there are two solid versions of it. If you play the PC of the original, there is just there's a great HD mod out there that is only slightly painful to install because it is so massive. But like once you get it on, you have a very nice looking version of the original Resident Evil 4. And what more do you want?
Yep, and we're really excited to see what they're going to do next with RE5 remake.
Yeah,
we're really going to see that
yeah.
Chris Redfield's going to be back. You have the new character
Sheva.
all set in a really Sheva's going to be really fun to play. The multiplayer, I hear a lot of good things about the multiplayer.
It's fun. It's fun to play.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see what they do with the environment.
I think like part of me in my like Resident Evil brain is like it would be really cool if they remade Code Veronica or Zero because like okay, I am one of those people who's like Code Veronica is like it's fun, but it's like it's still very goofy. It's of a certain era. I'm more positive on it now than I was when I played it when I was younger. But Resident Evil Zero is still a suck ass game that sucks ass. So like, it would be cool if they like did remake work on either of them, or hopefully if main Resident Evil team does it and not Resident Evil 3 team, because that game is a problem. That game is not good. I hate Resident Evil 3 remake. Totally fine linear shooter. Not what Resident Evil 3 is to me. But like in my like Booker brain, it's like, if they're gonna do another one, that's where they're gonna go. But they're not. Like realistically, the next game they were gonna work on is probably like Resident Evil 9 or something. Who knows? It
gotta
would
get
not,
more of that mold.
It would not surprise me if they just skip 5 and 6 entirely. But that would be funny if they just decided not to. They somehow combined them into a game, like took the plot points from them that work and like try and massively change things. It's like 5, for as problematic as it is, it still has some ardent defenders. I think it is a fun game that has some bad representation problems. It has probably the most fun mercenaries mode that they've ever had, and that's important. 6 is not very widely loved at all, so who knows what they would do with that game. Maybe they just won't touch them. Who knows? That wouldn't surprise me if they just decided, you know what? We're just gonna leave them as they are. But they're gonna do another Resident Evil thing at some point. Who knows what it's gonna be? The door is wide open. I think the most realistic thing is they're gonna do remake treatment on the first one. There's already a remake of the first one out there. Excellent game, but it is a top down like a fixed camera angle tank control kind of game. It doesn't actually have tank controls. You can turn them on if you want, but like it is of the old style of Resident Evil. So I would imagine them trying to do remake treatment on that. That makes the most sense to me as like what the next remake project of theirs would be.
Right.
Which would be kind of sad because I think like forcing people to play that that older version of it is a really good idea because that game slaps. That game kicks ass.
Yeah, to keep it like that is one where I would understand people being like, do not remake this because no, like preserve some history, like let people understand an older generation of game in a way that like makes you appreciative of what the art form has become.
Mm-hmm.
Because yeah, no, like
they should remake 3 again, but do it good this time.
that'd be cool. All I'm gonna say is like, yeah, no, like Resident Evil is 27 right now,
It's
so
old.
they're gonna have it's old, but also like if they want a nice round number, you're gonna be waiting another 3 years.
Yeah, we'll see. Other than that, I played I played more Fire Emblem Engage. I'm trying to finish it. I'm at the point. I've been sitting at like mission 23 for a long time because I'm like, oh, if I go and do this is probably going to be the end of the game. And I've just been like just sitting around. It's been a good like podcast game for me. Like put something on to listen to, go and do like a couple missions, go and raise some support ranks. So I started recently being like, okay, I'm going to try and make it through the story missions just to like try and finish this bad boy up. Like I feel like I've gotten my fill. It turns out there's a lot more of that game left. It's like I was ready for this to be done, but it's like, no, you gotta go and destroy some MacGuffins. And it has, at the very least, revealed some of the more interesting plot points of the game, but like they're not that interesting. There's one I'm sitting on because it's so fucking funny. I if you deeply care, here's what I'm gonna say. If you deeply care about spoilers for Fire Emblem Engage, skip ahead. Like maybe 30 seconds to a minute is gonna be quick. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I'm gonna go ahead and say it right now. And if you're watching on video, I'm gonna give a thumbs up when I'm done. Okay, here I go. Now, there is a main character that gets literally cucked by the main antagonist. And that is a major plot point that has lasting ramifications. There is a actual real cucking that occurs because she wants to fuck him really badly and get a baby because he is a fuck machine that fucks a bunch of people and has a ton of babies, and he just goes, nah. That's it. It's really funny that there is an actual cucking plot point in Fire Emblem Engage, and that is all I have to say on that. Thumbs up.
Well, I guess like this sounds like a game where you're in the sort of predicament I'm in. Maybe closer to an end. Closer to an end, of course.
Of course.
But still,
I
it's
didn't know they
know,
had that in Ishin.
listen, they have a lot in Ishin. No, specifically, like, do you finish it now and just like get it like all taken care of, or do you feel like, maybe I can leave this on the back burner, keep it truly dedicated as like that podcast game that like just something else to run on the side?
I'm finishing it. I'm finishing the fuck out of it. I'm done.
All right.
I already picked my wife. It's Gold Mary, of course. It couldn't be anyone else. Like she's perfect. Like done and done.
Perfect.
Other than that though, I played I just before this I went and played through the Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog, which is
how long is it?
Not that long. It was about like 2.5 hours for me.
Oh, perfect. I can definitely pick that up then.
Yeah, it's real quick. It is a visual novel that dropped on April Fools. It is a murder mystery where all of your Sonic friends show up and try to solve the mystery of who killed Sonic. It's like the visual novel aspects of it are very charming. It's very fun, very well written. I
Yeah, no,
it's an impressive thing for a small team to get this kind of IP and then just kind of like run loose with it. And it's obvious that it's the Sonic social team who worked on it, and it's obvious that they give a shit about Sonic and like all of the weird Sonic lore. So there's like a whole bunch of like funny little references in there. It's great. The thing about it that I don't like very much at all is that there are like runner platforming sections in between the like visual novel things. It's their think mode. Like, you know how if you played like a mystery game before, a mystery visual novel like a Danganronpa, they usually have like some kind of mini game to sort of like recreate the sort of like idea of thinking, but like also to give the player a little bit something more to do.
Thinking.
Gamified thinking. But in this, it's like you're just running on a track and collecting rings and like jumping over stuff because it's still a Sonic game. And it's like it feels very weird. Like, it doesn't feel good is the problem. Is like they very specifically designed it to be difficult for people, like to be a challenge for people who are like used to Sonic games. But even that, it's like it doesn't really play like a Sonic game. It just plays like a runner. It's like it's weirdly needlessly hard, and I don't want to like rag on it too hard for like what is a very short like fun game that I had a lot that was like very charming and I had fun with. Is like I only realized after I finished the game that there are in fact like accessibility options that are like, hey, here are all of the like variables in the think mode that can change it to like make it easier for you in case you're having a bad time. And let me tell you, when I was playing it, I was having a really bad time. So like I kind of wish they surfaced it more. It's a weird situation because like it's the primary way you play the game. It is in it way more than it should be. Like there's obviously it's a visual novel with visual novel like segments. But like the actual gameplay itself is like that's what it is. It's just a runner.
Right. I mean, I would be so bold as to say I would, if I were in the Sonic social team, like having fun with this, I would even just like campaign to say, let's not. Let's, because I mean, listen,
here's the thing is I can see a scenario where like when they were scoping this game out, like a big part of it was, oh, there's going to be runner sections. Like, I don't think it's a situation where they were like, we have this visual novel mystery idea and we're just going to, we think it would be very fun and funny, especially as like an April Fool's thing. And then some exec comes and goes, it's a Sonic game. If you're going to do a Sonic game, he needs to run and collect rings. No, I don't think that's happening.
No,
I think it was like
outright.
initially. I think it was like initially part of their design. It's just
right.
like I don't find it super well implemented. But it's like it's still like a fun game. You can go in there. You can tweak those options. You can go and have your fun when it comes to like visual novel stuff. But I think like including those sections is sort of like a larger, more pervasive problem with sort of like gaming culture like writ large, where it views visual novels as like not inherently fun on their own. So like you have stuff with like what's it called? Dream, what was it? It was Dream Daddy. That's the one I'm thinking of. Yeah, Dream Daddy Simulator, where it's like, there's like a whole bunch of extra games in it and stuff like that.
Which I'll say, like, if I really have to think about those games, they're nothing. Just shout out to Dream Daddy for showing me like Pup for the first time, and that being my outlet for that. But yeah, no, like I am staunchly on the like defender of like if you have a visual novel, be like, and again, it's not even to say like, oh, don't have games in it. No, like you have to be purposeful
Yeah,
in the implementation of it.
it speaks to a lack of confidence in the ability of like people who haven't played visual novels before to like find enjoyment in just like sitting down and reading something. Or even
It's like in Tokimeki Memorial, even like you can find like people or as far as I can tell, like there are segments where it's like, oh, we're just gonna randomly input Final Fantasy in here, not as like, you know, a lack of confidence, but because we think it'd be funny if this devolved into a JRPG segment and then carry on with the rest of it. There are other like to do it purposefully, and yeah, like if it sounds like yeah, we want to do the implementation of this runner in a way that like we think would be funny and like would make sense in the like overall context of the world. Like that still makes sense.
yeah.
It's mainly just again that idea that like, oh, you inherently need a additional artifice to work with, otherwise the game isn't fun, that I push back harshly on, because then it's like, you know, with Danganronpa, as far as I can tell, people love the actual story as cracked as it is, but then they don't want to do a fucking like digital dive or whatever, but whatever the fucking mini games are called.
I like the mini games, but they are bad.
No, I'm sure the mini games are fine, but it's like, you know what I mean?
No,
like,
they're terrible, but I love them. Like, so
well,
there's some of them that are like truly irredeemable, but I think the game is more fun for having them there. But this speaks to like
still at least an idea of like, oh yeah, we should like
I'm
wanting
with you
to have
though.
be thematically.
I'm with you though. It speaks to like a larger, more pervasive like cultural issue when it comes to like how visual novels are viewed. Especially like,
with the fact that this is still somehow an April Fool's joke, quote unquote, but it's more like
it's an April Fool's joke, but it's like a real game. Like it's a real game. It's a fully fleshed out like, game.
Why? It's again that aspect of April Fool's that it's like, oh, this will be the day that we loosen our ties a little bit and like do something else that is enjoyable. But at the same time, it's like this could just live and breathe as its own thing, especially because you have people that are involved with like the IDW comics coming in to also like pitch in and support. And it's like this doesn't feel like a joke in the way where it's like, like let's have a good time, like, you know, having a fast one on our good friend Sonic.
No,
even
it's
like,
very
he's
like
dead.
It's very like you can tell the people who made this are very passionate about it. Like
exactly.
Like that's why I am still inherently recommending it, not just because it's like a free visual novel, but like it's still fun in its own way. You can adjust the difficulty on those runner sections. Like, like my recommendation is get into them, like try and play them normally as is, and then if they start to irritate you, do not hesitate to go into the options and like mess around with them, because they only get less fun the more you play them. They only get harder.
No, for sure. And again, like my stance is already like, oh, I need to download this yesterday to like get a chance at it, and I just didn't have the time to. But like
it's still worthwhile. It's still a worthwhile game to play, especially if you're a Sonic fan.
Yeah, no, for me, it's like the fact that this can be out, and then you'll see like the British branch of like Sega or whatever tweet out like, oh, we've finally done it, lads. We've done Sonic Dating Simulator. Look at this 3D JPEG of Sonic that you can ask out, and it's like, this sucks. to like lean on like, oh, aren't dating sims funny, sucks, because so many of them are like representative of the backbone of, you know, gaming as an art form, because the house in Fata Morgana cannot exist anywhere else outside of being this video game that you experience one-to-one with the spacebar. Like, I will be adamant about that till I'm blue in the face.
You know, not even if you're playing the Switch version?
Well, the A button, you know what I mean? Yeah.
No, I get it.
All right, you got me there. But
okay,
yeah, no,
here's my other small problem with these sections is this game doesn't have controller support. Probably because, you know, probably because they weren't considering porting this to anything else.
Of course,
it probably could be ported like decently well. But that means I'm using WASD and space to play a platformer, like a runner platformer, and like I have bad wrists. Like it's not not fun.
That sounds like a nightmare.
It's not a good experience.
Still
fun game. Go ahead and give it a download. It's free on Steam right now. That's about all I have to say about games. You ready to move on to news?
News me up.
News you up. Big news, biggest news out of this past week. E3 is canceled. Following a trickling of waves in which numerous major developers have announced their intentions to pull out of the show one by one, the Entertainment Software Association concluded that this year's E3, quote, did not garner the sustained interest necessary to execute it in a way that would showcase the size, strength, and impact of our industry. Tons of major developers have pulled out, and they have just said, no, we're done. Like, we can't do this. It's a bittersweet feeling, because, like, there is a, like, I feel like there is a strong urge to want something like a massive game show, which is why, like, Summer Games Fest on its own is inherently appealing to, like, a lot of people. But it's like E3 on its own was run so fucking poorly that, like, what is the point of the, like, I mean, like, what's the point of keeping it going?
Yeah, I was earlier to the stream. I was watching Balp just like stream some of the Evo Tekken finals from the prior night, Evo Japan, and the conversation around E3 being canceled came up, and like I think he pointed to a good fact is the fact that like E3 2019 was already showing some like it wasn't even the pandemic that shut E3 down. It was just, you know, being able to send something through an email, or, like, or, you know, once Nintendo Directs became a viable option, the idea that you didn't have to get all of your people over to LA, you didn't have to prep for June anymore. That really just was the, like, that was already the writing on the wall for E3 to eventually come to some kind of a close. And it's of two portions, because it's like one part where, like, understandably, this wouldn't be viable anymore now that there are multiple options. Like, the fact that nowadays you can't just run an entire, like, showcase from a Zoom call or from a, like, pre-recorded video, and that is viable. But also, like, to an extent, people want events. People enjoy events, and
I love to tune, like, as goofy as they are, I fucking love to tune into the Game Awards. Like, it is still a show. Like, as, like, awful and as gross as the presentation is, it is still a, like, a thing to experience together. That is, like,
right.
It's like, it's bullshit, and it sucks, and it's a, like, it's entirely just like a hyper-capitalist fantasy of, here are the games that are the most expensive, which ones do we, like, think are the most money, except for when they gave Sekiro and Elden Ring Game of the Year, and that's when they were valid and real.
Right, and those times that God of War won its awards and was pretty cool.
It was pretty bullshit, yeah, I think.
Fuck you. No,
I like Ragnarok. It's a fun game.
Yeah, no, like, it's this ability to present in a way that is still evocative. It's why you still see PAX, like, adamantly sort of, like, filling in as a replacement as well, even though...
It's also why you're seeing a whole bunch of other, like, smaller shows sort of, like, get more prominence, is like, oh, without an E3, people are looking more at GDC for some reason. People are looking more at, like, Tokyo Game Show, Summer Games Fest, obviously popping up, trying to fill that space, but also it's like, it's not courting major developers, it's mostly bringing in, like, it's mostly bringing in like indie studios, which is, you know, I think that's a really good idea. I generally like Summer Games Fest, but also it's just a bunch of trailers. It's all.
Yeah. No, and again, it's like you at least see this come up in other ways where you have these other expos that people choose to go to, and while you may not get the actual live feed, there is at least a tangible option there. And then, you know, the tournament scene is where like a lot of this conceit is still thriving, partly because of the fact that you see the celebration of the game itself in like these tournaments, but then also a lot of the times, like again, last night we got the announcement trailers for new characters in Tekken 8 right after the Tekken 8 finals, which is also like you figure FGC is at least an example of like being codependent with your audience,
Right.
or not codependent, but just like it's a very like symbiotic relationship when it works out, and it's not fucking Capcom trying to say we're not going to have leverless controllers at our tournaments and fucking the next day you see a tournament sponsored by Hitbox actively just ignoring that.
Mm-hmm.
But that is its own like niche of ups and downs there. It's just weird to sort of just see the actual finality.
Yeah. I don't like, I feel like E3 in some form is eventually going to be back. Like it's
Maybe.
canceled. It's canceled like this year, but like it's the kind of thing that really sort of needed to happen because the ESA on its own is like nobody is satisfied with it. Like nobody likes working with them. They're like it feels like such a majorly fractured organization that if we were going to have something like this happening again, it would need to be rebuilt from scratch.
It's like what I could see is what if Summer Games Fest becomes a event that you could go to.
Yeah.
And like there is essentially just like, hey, you know, here are the trailers we're going to show off, but also if you want to be part of our like, you know, game showcase or whatever, and still have like the promotional aspect and showcasing, you know, games that we did have on trailers, games that might have already been announced, but then like here's our latest build, here's like that ecosystem could still exist because like the gaming conference is an idea that works, and it doesn't need to just have the one like form to it.
Mm-hmm.
But it really is dependent on just like what does gaming as a landscape look like.
Yeah.
And that is a consistent question to ask. And right now, like I think the main thing is it looks expensive, and
yeah,
in a way that is like worrisome.
Yeah, I like, part of me like is definitely spiritually like, oh man, E3 is gone. No, my gamer's home, my mecca. Where is it being
What am
gone?
I gonna do in June now?
And like, I respect Summer Games Fest and like the Game Awards both as like Healy seeing these things that are like things that are big and pervasive that you kind of need in this industry, but also they sucked and he hated working on them, so he's like, fuck it, I'm gonna go and do my own thing. And like I respect that, but like he's still got his own, like they're not perfect in their own ways.
Yeah.
Like, I still prefer the Game Awards to Spike TV's The Video Game Awards, you know?
Right.
Like, there is at least a like level of credibility that comes from it compared to something like these older like TV versions that treated the entire thing as like just one major joke. It's it's weird. Who knows? Who knows what the future of E3 looks like right now? Speaking of other things with weird, uncertain futures, Multiversus is going offline for a while. This is so fucking strange. They put out a tweet that says, MVPs, thank you for your support during the open beta. The feedback and inspiration has been amazing. Open beta will close June 25th. That's my birthday. They're doing this on my birthday. How could they do this?
They're taking Bugs Bunny away from you.
They're taking LeBron away from me. As we prepare for the full launch in early 2024, Multiversus will be back and better than ever with new content, features, modes, and more when we return. This wasn't a fucking beta, you liars. This was you put the game out.
No, it's our open beta.
You put the game out.
Ignore the DLC that we offered. Ignore the texture packs that we gave out.
You made microtransactions. People pay for.
It's the beta.
It's not. It was never the beta. Like at no point during their release is there ever a point where they were like, "This is the open beta." The first time it comes up is this tweet, which is how you know it's entirely bullshit. And like okay,
fighting game of the year, Multiversus.
It's true. We're just talking about the Game Awards. The Game Awards fighting game of the year, Multiversus. Jesus Christ.
Beat Sifu.
Well, Sifu is not a fighting game, but it's still really good. Okay, I think it's very good. It's on my list. Hey, if you haven't, go ahead and check out my top 11 games of the year list on videogamechuchu.com. There's some good games in there.
Check out my year in review.
But yeah, it's very like the entire thing is very strange. Everything I understand about the state of Multiverses makes it sound like something like this was ultimately very necessary. Like they needed some sort of massive shift because so the balance of the game was really drastically off and favored a bunch and really favored a small handful of characters. So most of the like high level players like just bounced off entirely. Like they just weren't interested in playing a game with such a like small condensed meta. And which is really saying something because these are ostensibly Smash players who are people who famously they've been yearning. They need anything. They need fucking anything because they have gotten nothing for years.
They need the Bowser jelly.
They need the Bowser jelly. But like, not only was like the balance being off meant like their core player base wasn't really interested in playing it anymore. The only people who'd be attracted to it are like casual players, and casual players aren't going to sustain they're not going to sustain a major player base for a long time. Like I talk a lot of shit about the way Destiny 2 is balanced in like rebalanced in such a way to favor long tedious play because that's ostensibly what the community wanted. They wanted randomized loot because like that encourages them to play the game more. And I think that fucking sucks and is not fun. But it did give that game more longevity. In a game like this, in a fighting game, you need the characters. Like there's always going to be a specific meta, but you need to at least balance the game in such a way that like some like characters will be able to like counter other characters. And that just wasn't what was happening. Like we had like a small handful of characters who were just head and shoulders above everyone else, and that was all you were going to play. And that's just like that's a major problem that needed fixing. Maybe when it comes back, they'll take Rick and Morty out. Fingers crossed. We'll see.
What you mean those moneymakers? We can't let them go.
I mean, they're gonna keep making that show. So
they are. Again, the fact that developments from this fucking side of the news, charges were dropped, does not mean anything. No. If anything, it has worse implications.
Yeah.
For Mr. Roiland, but like puts out a fucking Notes app apology that's like, I've been vindicated. I think, everything's going to go a millhouse for me. It's going to
Can't
be
wait to
great.
get back to my projects.
And it's like, did you not see everyone like actively pissing on your proverbial grave?
Uh-huh.
Did you not see everyone be like, yeah, no, this dude barely showed up?
The
Like,
people who want more of that shit are sycophantic. Like, it's not for us, you know?
yeah, but no, it's like also the fact like the people that have been on this ship are like, no, we're calling mutiny because we want to steer this in a new direction.
Yeah, like
probably like still at the core of whatever is there, but it's like without you involved, it just automatically makes everything lighter.
yeah, like full disclosure, like I'm friends with Alec Robbins, who was a major part in the narrative of A High on Life. As soon as Justin Roiland like got canned from that, he puts out a post that's like, thank fucking God. Like when the people you are working with are like are going, oh, nice, we can finally right this ship, like that's a like like that should indicate enough to you that you are probably not wanted in this space anymore.
Yeah. But
yeah, we're whatever.
who are they going to bring back on early 2024?
Hopefully,
what are the new characters?
Who knows? Who like they're gonna add Snoopy? Then
Gus Fring is finally gonna get in there.
Snoopy. Yeah, he's in. He's gonna be riding around as the Red Baron.
Oh hell yeah!
It's gonna be sick as hell.
You gotta pay for the Joe Cool skin.
Charlie Brown's gonna be in it, but he's not gonna be able to do anything because he's a little piece of shit. He's gonna have an attack where Lucy puts out a football and then he's gonna miss.
Instead of Tom and Jerry, it's gonna be Charlie Brown and Lucy.
Yo, official video game choo-choo stance. Fuck Charlie Brown. That kid sucks.
Wow. I see that you really are down on neuroatypicals.
The Wii U and Nintendo 3DS shops have officially shuttered.
They're gone.
They're gone. As of today, any previous purchases made in the shops are still re-downloadable, but no new purchases can be made. There are many digital-only titles that are still currently not legally accessible outside of these venues. Nintendo has yet to provide any intentions of bringing them elsewhere. The sort of like other thing about this was that the Pokemon Bank, I believe it is like weirdly non-functional. Like initially when everything went offline, it just didn't work. But they quickly put out a patch that was like, hey, now you should still be able to use it. You don't need a subscription anymore. But it seems like the only people who are able to use it are people who did in fact pay for a subscription, like when it shuttered. Awesome. I don't actually know if that's been fixed. That's just for what I remember from when it was reported. That seems like something that we should probably figure out. You know what? Live reporting. Give me 1 second. I have my 3DS right over here. Give me a moment.
Folks, we're going to do some live reporting right here, right now.
We do this for you.
I also have my 3DS, but I need to buy a new charger and a circle pad replacement. We're talking. Let me get mine as well.
I'm already here, man. I need you to vamp. I'm booting it up. Okay.
What's up?
Pokemon Bank. Booting it now. We're doing this. We're figuring this out.
This is mine.
Oh, I had that same one. I got
this is the original. I what's here? My copy of Pokemon White.
Connecting to the internet.
I think I deleted some ambassador program games on this thing, though.
Oh no!
I don't know if I can ever access those again.
I did not pay for a subscription for Pokemon Bank, so so far seeing it connect to the internet. Oh, and
I don't know where my
I'm
copy
getting
of
some.
Kid
I'm getting
Icarus
another
Uprising
sign-in
is.
screen. What's going on? I'm a blank screen.
Cool.
Did like multiple sign-in screens and connecting to the internet.
Is it connected to your internet?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I did this recently. I think it crashed.
Cool.
I think it crashed.
Nice.
I mean, the home button isn't working. Let me try again.
I did also have like the new 3DS XL. I have no idea where that is. It theoretically should be somewhere at home.
I bought a 2DS XL like very close to the end of like the 3DS like lifespan. This is like, oh, there's still some like 3DS games I want to play, and this is like $100.
Yeah, no, this sort of the last 3DS I got would have been like.
And I like how big it is. Look at how big it is. I have a huge head. Look how big this is compared to my head.
No, it's nice. I think that purchase was like back when I was still in like high school.
Look at how big it is compared to the Switch. It's like comparably big to the Switch.
Yeah.
It's a big old 3DS.
I did not use it as much as I expected.
No, I did not use this at all. I played like some Ultra Moon on it, and then I stopped playing Ultra Moon.
I played Sun and Moon. I played that definitely would have been one of the last ones I had. I did play a bit of Kid Icarus Uprising, but I did not get into it too much, which is a shame, because that is definitely like a holy grail of just like, I want that to have a port so badly.
Mm-hmm.
Just for the
connecting
for the sake that it like won't fuck up my wrists if it's at least like connected to 2 Joy-Cons.
We have to make this happen. We have to figure this out.
If you are a Twitter user, Colin Space Twinks has put out famous for doing lists of stuff that doesn't really get a lot of play whenever there's like Steam sales.
Okay.
They currently put out a list.
I got an anime girl.
All right. Put out a list of old like 3DS games that you should play, which does include Attack of the Friday Monsters if you're a fan of like Boku no Natsuyasumi, other stuff. It's all there. You can read it.
Okay.
I'm not gonna read it to you.
I'm gonna use Pokemon Bank. Okay. I never bought a Pokemon Bank subscription. I appear to be using the Pokemon Bank. So that is investigative journalism. If you had Pokemon Bank downloaded, you can use it. I can receive Pokemiles. Okay, all right.
Did I ever? I honestly don't know if I ever had it.
Okay, yeah, I apparently can just use it. Cool. All right, well, that's me reporting shit out of my ass, based on rumor, and now I know for a fact that it is bullshit because they went ahead and made sure you can just do it. So if you had Pokemon Bank downloaded and you have some old Pokemon, you could bring them to hell over. And that is that, folks. We have shut the 3DS. We have closed the book on that one.
It's pretty easy to hack your 3DS from what I hear.
I'm gonna drink and I'm going on to the next story.
Wii U.
That's what I'm always saying.
Port Xenoblade Chronicles X already, so I can just sell this thing. No, Wii U was more. The Wii U legitimately was formative for me. That had a lot of games that I love, down to the fact that was the first time that I played Earthbound.
Odd. All right, let's get on to bummer news. Electronic Arts lays off 6% of its staff after getting strong profits. very classic video game developers laying off a shitload of people. That's about 800 employees affected who are now out of jobs. After on January 31st, EA reported 1.3 billion in gross profit.
Whack.
Pokemon Go is facing criticism and a call for boycott by its player base due to new changes to the remote raids mechanic, accompanied by pricing increases. Remote raids were introduced in the midst of the total COVID-19 lockdown measures that were taken when the pandemic first started, and to accommodate gameplay to ensure players do not have to be at a physical location to participate. In the game's next update, remote raids will be nerfed, and prices to participate will be raised, among other features. As of now, Niantic has no plan to revert these changes. Seems dumb. Seems very silly that they would take this approach.
Yeah.
Like, you had a game that was literally took fucking everyone by storm. It seems like
I still remember that summer. I remember the summer of Pokemon Go. We were like the doomsday clock went as far back as it probably has ever gone because of Pokemon Go, and it's only been ramping up since again.
Yeah, and
we were back at freaking 11 o'clock, man.
And like they took a lot of measures to make sure people could still play the game, because what you want to do for some kind of like social interaction game is actually make people play it. Now they're ostensibly walking them back or making it harder to be remote, seemingly chasing profits out of the few people who are still left playing, which is still a pretty large amount of people from what I understand. Also encouraging, getting out and walking more, which there were already ways to subvert the walking mechanics. Like, it was not a secure system, like, at all. The fact that they would try and monetize the fact that you are trying to do this remotely now is deeply silly.
It definitely is frustrating, if only because like the incentive is still there. Like, I don't see this as a way to. I mean, ultimately, it's a way to still just like essentially like bog down on the like player base that you currently have. But it's just like one of those weird things of trying to like go back to normal with the biggest air quotes that I could possibly have on that kind of a statement. And like, this is just a convenient thing to have, especially as like Pokemon as a brand is actively trying to like set itself up as the lifestyle brand at this point.
Yeah.
When you look at shit like Pokemon Sleep, like
the Pokemon will help you.
The Pokemon will help you sleep. You should just also let the Pokemon be around. Like, I don't know. In the
I just
biggest reaches.
No, go ahead.
In the biggest reaches of my capitalist brain, if I had to go full executive mode, I'm already like, you're making people lose money by trying to incentivize things in a way that is actively like already in opposition to other stuff. Like, let them do remote raids. Let them do.
This is only going to shoot themselves in the foot. Like, it's a stupid idea. It's a stupid idea that benefits no one.
Exactly.
I think people should go. Pokemon go to the polls and vote.
More and more people are saying this, I think. I believe women.
Oh boy, speaking of believing women, this next section, big content warning for sexual assault and harassment. The Game Developers Conference 2023 has closed out last week and is followed up by a disturbing series of reports that allege incidents of sexual assault and harassment that have occurred at offsite events. In a post from the Games and Online Harassment Hotline, they said every year there are stories of groping, drugging, harassment, and even more stories of countless attempts to create opportunities for assault at games industry events like GDC 23. It is heartbreaking and infuriating that this feels so normalized. The event saw an attendance of 28,000 people. Guy Bloomberg, the vice president of video game PR agency Stride, notes that he has been informed that one such grouping of incidents occurred at karaoke that even his company hosted. As of this date, the San Francisco Police Department has issued a statement stating that no reports have been filed. We heard a very large amount of reports, like even more so than like I hate to say the term more so than usual, but it's like it seems like a problem that has been pervasive in the industry for a really long time, and it like at this event in particular, it spiked really badly. How there are still like so many bad actors within this space that just like still have the ability to navigate through it without like any kind of material consequence. And that's just sort of how the game industry has like sheltered some of its worst offenders. It's a huge bummer. Like every year we it's kind of becoming like I heard a lot of like really valid criticism of GDC this year, not just of like sexual harassment, but also that like ostensibly if you were not a white male developer, you had a much more difficult time actually getting to the conference and like actually presenting, or just going to attend. Like very notoriously, there were stories of police stopping people driving to the event, questioning them. There was one specifically of a non-white developer who repeatedly told them, "I'm a game developer. I'm going to this. I'm presenting." And they said, "No, you're not." Like over and over again. They kept insisting he was there to like, do some fucking crime or something. Like just truly disgusting racist bullshit that's happening. It's like it's really concerning that GDC has like, I don't want to say they've been quiet. I believe they did issue a statement on this already, but it seems like the culture of it isn't going to change unless like something majorly bad happens, or just something bad happens to them in terms of like people just not supporting it anymore. Like it fucking sucks. It fucking sucks that this still happens even after we've been so deeply transparent about like the terrible gross shit that happens in this industry.
Yeah, I mean, what else is there really to say on this kind of a thing? Like I run out of words for this. I run out of patience. It really does come down to, and I don't know, like in general at this point my response is, if I catch you doing this, I will.
It's on site.
Yeah,
we're here.
Like
we're women defenders here.
I don't even try and say that as a bit, like literally, like the most, the least that I can do is actually
I'm trying to bring some sort of levity to such a difficult topic.
The attempt to bring some levity to this, but at the same time, it's like, no, my job should be to go over and be like,
yeah,
what the fuck are you talking about?
Absolutely.
What are you trying to do? I see this shit and you're trying to do this. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
And if anything, it's only so difficult to do that from a digital space, but also, I don't know. I also think about the fact that like
as COVID measures are ramping down, we're like obviously COVID is still a problem. I think I caught it recently. I don't know. My doctor won't tell me. All they said is that
I'm definitely looking.
I had some sort of viral infection. They wouldn't say which one.
I mean, last week when I had a really bad headache and then like dealing with like other stuff, I definitely had the thought where I'm like, should I break out one of these tests to check? I don't know. But I'm also sitting here knowing like I want to get a booster re-up before I this summer. I plan to travel a lot more. I do want to make sure that I am taking measures that way. But also it's kind of like
I was trying to say, like measures are ramping down as like, and as they ramp down, like we're like, a lot of us, especially us here at Video Game Choo Choo, are probably gonna try and attend more events. Like we already had like people attending PAX this past month. We had like we've had people like visiting every like a whole bunch of different spaces, and like we want to get out there and like be out there, like get our names out there more. But this kind of shit is so fucking infuriating and like discouraging that like it makes you question like why you're even in this industry.
Yeah, and especially when you look at the makeup of Juge itself, like it's not just me or like in terms of the breakdown, it is not just like John and I who are probably the most like definitively cishet men in the group. Even the fact that I am, Latino, like that already is a change of the conversation. But then you look at the entirety of it, where we do include multiple sexualities, multiple genders, gender identities, like different backgrounds to represent more or less the fact that we still look at the gaming landscape for what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like this shit pisses me off because it's like, what are you doing?
All girls have my sword. Is all I'm gonna say. It is there to defend them.
I will refer to Matt Champion's verse in the song "Junkie" by Brockhampton. Look it up; it's a fun time. The song itself is also fun, but
let's move on.
There we go.
President Biden is invoking the Defense Production Act.
Thank God.
For circuit board production. Although the move is primarily motivated for mobilizing the technological sector of national defense, it may possibly impact the supply chain and boost domestic production of I don't know why Elfie wrote it like this. So many big words. It may possibly impact the supply chain and boost domestic production of effects that would benefit various electronics and technologies as a whole. Sure. We'll probably get more PS5s out there.
We need more PS5s out there. If there's a way that we lower the price of like, I don't know, fucking 40.
As far as I understand it, PS5s are much easier to get now, but graphics cards are definitely becoming a bit more of a problem.
Yeah. Again, that's why like tomorrow I am definitively making sure I get my fucking 3060 Ti because I don't know when that's going to be around again.
Vampire Survivors wins best game at the BAFTA Game Awards. God of War Ragnarok ended up becoming the most awarded game title in the show's history, taking home 6 awards.
That's right.
And our final story here: creator of the Bubsy series, Mike Berlin, has passed away. A tweet from Mike Micah: shattered to hear that game designer, programmer, and writer Mike Berlin has passed away. Suspended, Cutthroats, Infidel, all as well as games like Bubsy, Bubsy 3D, Utopos, Pastimes, and Toontown, and many more games. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
And that is all we have on the docket for news.
I did want to bring up it is on the similar news as per Mike Berlin, but just today was released that on March 28th, composer Ryuichi Sakamoto passed away. I don't know if you were ever have you ever heard of a Ryuichi Sakamoto?
No.
Okay, so not a specifically video game composer, but it's more so Sakamoto, as like alongside other individuals, like was someone that like worked in electronic music, and specifically like you look at the work he was doing as part of his group, the Yellow Magic Orchestra, which also taking a bit of chance to note that I am a fan.
Excellent.
I am a fan. But no, genuinely, like you see the way that electronic music develops before, like, the onset of the NES, and you see like 78 to 85 as these people really just driving home not only jazz, like influences in jazz, disco, R&B, but like making that sound through synthesizers and a lot of these like updates in electronic music, and it carries over into a lot of what Sakamoto produced. Was it he and Yukihiro Takahashi, both members of the Yellow Magic Orchestra, have passed away like within this past year, and their surviving member Haruomi Hosono, is the last surviving member. My heart goes out to him as well. Just seeing people that you sort of like helped to revitalize an entire like to set a foundation. Like, it is without record to say that like they are foundation setters when it comes to the way that we perceive this new genre of music. It's like them and Wendy Carlos when we're really talking about this like whole genre of not just video game music, because it's easy to go like, oh, it's just the beeps and bloops. But like, no, these are composers inspired by other things going on. You listen to any of their discography and you immediately notice it come up in other like games and other composers. One of the most immediate ones I can like point out is there is an EP Sakamoto had with the title track called Thousand Knives, and part of it's like not part of that song is more or less like repurposed as like the waiting room theme for like the Ace Attorney games, and you can just immediately pick that up after you listen to the two, and it's like, no, like this is how pervasive they are. He's also like just been around as a general composer too. Like, he did the soundtrack for The Revenant most recently, among other things, but in particular to games itself, like helped coordinate the soundtrack for a game called, I believe, Lack of Love for the PS1 by like the Love Delic company. And so same people that like would eventually work on Tulip, the people that did work on Moon, like as soon as I say that, like you immediately get the idea for where his like space is as an artist is. But also in the middle of all that, he is the composer of the Dreamcast boot up sound.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, like part of his whole thing was like he really believed in this idea of music as like a place and about like the area that you're in, because there is old like documentary footage where he talks about the fact that like in Japan, like there is so much music around you, literally because of the fact that like storefronts are playing things. You're hearing like jingles from the subway and in various stations and in restaurants, and it's like you never hear any of that from beginning to end. You're always hearing it at a specific moment. Like, you don't go into an elevator to hear like the waiting music from start to finish. You hear it for the moment until you get off to the floor, and then you go on with the rest of your day. How do you sort of like capture that vibe in other pieces, or like, create that segment in time for the music it is that you make? And it really, I don't know. I look at that and I think like, the reason that we have such fond memories of like the PS1 startup noise really would come down, like it comes down to that ethos, this idea of what music can be, and that it is so related to what drives video game music as it is now. And yeah, I just wanted to, take some time to share that out. If you're not familiar, I'd highly recommend. Plenty of their music is available on streaming. You can look up a lot of it on YouTube. Like, it is really good stuff. I cannot sing the praises of a genius more than like so many other people on the internet are.
Right. Just quickly checking, see if we had any other news. Asuka Kazuma and Leroy Smith gameplay trailers released for Tekken 8. You mentioned that earlier when you were talking about Tekken 8 finals. Yep.
I don't even say interesting. It's just cool that a Tekken 7 character is out there. Like, yeah. Leroy Smith is like the coolest character they have made in a while.
I did see a post about Kazuma that was just like this. She's dressed like she's dressed like one of those fuck. I'm butchering it. I'm dying. I'm dying out here.
Oh man.
She's dressed like a young boy in England who goes, "Oi mate, you me dad."
Yeah. I saw someone
That's
say
the
she
joke,
got the.
buddy.
I saw someone say she got the Luke Triton fit, and I'm like, shit.
One more last tiny piece of news here. Uh, episode Purge marks the final chapter of Citizen Sleeper's DLC, The Future of the Eye from tomorrow. That's when the drop their last little bit of DLC dropping tomorrow for the game Citizen Sleeper. Which I don't know. I don't know how much Citizen Sleeper talk we've done on here. We did a bunch of it during Game of the Year this year, but that was all like deliberations, which we're talking about it, and like we think it might be a good idea to actually share our deliberations out, and that's something we're probably going to try and pursue next year. And I'm putting it out there just to put us on the spot because I want that to happen. But
I mean, I've definitely mentioned that. Like, there are some things where it's like,
it is genuinely the most. It is the most fun part of Game of the Year. Is like getting to talk to you guys about it. The reason we don't share them anymore is because like there was a time when it was like extremely fucking stressful, and it was really annoying to do. And like we've gotten so much better about that it's just been like so much fun. And hopefully that's.
And I think it also is like overall. Like, it is a evolution of what Game of the Year is for us.
Yeah. Well, so we're going to try and redefine our Game of the Year.
But no, we definitely did mention Citizen Sleeper, and overall my thoughts are I like the idea of it. I like the premise of it. I liked when I was buying into it.
A lot of people I know who have played it who have ostensibly said, like, hey, by the end game, it's sort of like overwrites the themes of the game where you're at as a player, and like the actual lack of consequence makes the entire thing feel like very like a little bit trite, but for a while playing it, it is very cool. So we'll see what that DLC looks like.
I mean, hey, if it fixes that problem, then that is
they drain your bank account at the end.
Oh, right. No, but I mean, that's sort of the, like, I think my key point is I was at my poorest, maybe, when I played the game about being poor, and then I ended up racking up $50,000 in gambling and winning all the time. Or it's like, what do you mean that, like, the house doesn't just kill me when I do that? But no, the fact that they're able to put out that DLC is genuinely good. I applaud the studio for having such a bold direction. If it didn't entirely land for me, that's one thing. But this isn't me saying like pass out on Citizen Sleeper. Try it out.
Yeah, we're very like we tend to like we're very critical of the games we play, obviously, but we try to be pretty lenient towards indie games because these are the ones that like get more impacted by like negative press and reviews. Like this is like, you know, obviously we're gonna judge everything. We're gonna judge everything like as it should be judged, but like, you know, we want games from smaller developers to succeed. Nobody here ever wants a game to be bad, even like a big budget game, you know?
Yeah, because when you play it, it's like, shit, I have to experience the bad. Or at least, like...
Who knows? Maybe, like, the next game that they make is, like, they learn from their mistakes on this, and it fucking rules, you know?
Yeah, we'll see. Again, it's, like, ultimately, like, it's what keeps a 10 out of 10 to being, like, an 8 out of 10 for me.
Right.
Not just a full-on dumpster fire. And that's me being nitpicky about the fact that the game is letting me win too much.
All right, let's move on to questions. If you want to send us a question, you can always send it to videogamecheatcheat.tumblr.com/ask. Or if you're here in the chat and you want to send it, just go ahead. It'll be fun. We'll read it. We have a series of questions here from Anonymous. They're a little strange, so I think I'm just going to read them all as I go. Okay, let's start. First one is, do you have any games about the precious? The beautiful, shiny precious. Are there games where we can sneak and hide precious? Can we climb, crawl, run, and jump precious? Can we be as nimble as a spider and as quick as a fish? Can we trick the big and stupid orcs? Are there any games where we can find the precious hidden treasures, the secret items that makes us stronger? Do the games have dark and treacherous places with shadows and dangerous creatures precious? Can we fight the big and ugly monsters? Is trolls, the dragons, the balrogs precious? Can we win our wits and our weapons? Can we play together, precious? Can we join forces and defeat the orcs and dark things that threaten us both? I didn't want to say it up top, but I do think our friend Gollum from the game #GollumGame did send us these messages, and I'm really glad that Gollum reached out to us, because I do think there are a lot of games that I personally do find precious, and I have a bunch of them right here. These are my precious. I got Metal Gear Solid 2, and then I have Metal Gear Solid 2 Substance for the Xbox. I don't have Substance for the PS2, because it's that's the one that has the Tony Hawk game in it, or I think it's a skate. I don't remember what the license is, but you can ride around on Big Shell on a skateboard. But I have both of those. I have right here. I have SmackDown vs. Raw 2008 for the PS2, and then I have SmackDown vs. Raw 2008 for the Xbox 360, and then I also have SmackDown vs. Raw 2008 for the Nintendo DS. There's unfortunately like whole thing there, so you can't, but like you can kind of tell just from like the other covers that it's still SmackDown vs. Raw 2008. Those are kinds of my preciouses. A Dark Souls for the PS3. It's still in the wrapping, as you can tell. Like it's Dark Souls. It's Dark Souls. I'm gonna.
Right. Yeah.
I have. I'm not gonna mention that one. I have. Deus Ex Invisible War.
Okay.
Xbox. It's shiny. Look at that shine.
That's pretty solid. I
think
like
look.
that.
Oh, this one's good. This one's also shiny. Yeah, Oni.
All right. By Rockstar.
It's by Rockstar, developed by Bungie, published by Rockstar.
And they just slapped a. I won't know who the artist is for that artwork, but.
Here's Metal Gear Solid: The Twin Snakes for the Nintendo GameCube. Because it's the GameCube, it's a small disc. All of these are full of games, by the way. They're not just fake cases. Like, I don't know.
Right, because we almost would have doubted you for that.
Oh, well, I have to confirm because I got SmackDown. This is the game.
Well, wait, what's the other one in there? Good, because it has two.
Oh, this one. Okay, the PS2 version actually comes with a DVD. John Cena and Shawn Michaels matches. It's a DVD sampler disc.
Oh, hell yeah, dude.
And then the 360 version does not come with that, as you can see. It's for the PS2.
Inferior copy.
It's for the PS2 specifically, because people were like, well, people don't buy the PS2 version because the 360 one came out. And then here's the very tiny DS game.
You have a space to put your Game Boy game.
Then I have Legend of Legaia. This one, Legend of Legaia comes in one of these fat cases, but it's a 1-disc game. Like there's only 1 disc. So what I did was, with the other slot, I put the Legend of Legaia demo disc in.
There you go.
And then also I have Legaia 2 Dual Saga, which is a game I don't think people know exists, especially if you did somehow know about Legend of Legaia. But yeah, there is a sequel. You may think that this guy is this guy.
They're different.
Because they both look alike and they have like blue hair. You would be wrong. They are different guys.
Damn.
It's like, whoa. I thought this was the same guy. No. Oh, that's my preciouses. Do you have any preciouses?
No, Gollum play Third Strike. Balrog's not in it, but like you could probably be a decent like Necro main. Maybe like you could probably be a 12 main. That'd be fine. Yeah.
Let's move on. Well, first I have to do important thing and delete all of these questions one by one. Is 1, 2, 3, 4,
May 25th.
5 questions. Okay. Our next question comes from our good buddy Cello Buster. Cello Buster asks, what E would you add to E3 to make it come back better than ever next year as E4? Well, it was already what did E3 stand for? Electronic
Yeah.
E Expo.
Electronic Entertainment Expo?
Electronic Entertainment Expo. What E do we add to that? Or do we sort of like, do we remix it a bit? Do we do a bit of
egg roll?
Yeah.
Electronic Entertainment and Egg Roll Expo.
You could. Yeah, you could put
empanada.
You could put egg rolls and empanada. Okay. I think we're on to something. Egg roll, empanada. What's another fucking food that starts with E that's not egg?
Ebi.
Wait, what's
That's
an ebi?
eel.
Oh,
no,
eel.
I'm thinking about unagi, but also just eel.
That's a U though, isn't it? Oh.
Yeah, no, but we can do eel. Do eel.
I don't think of eel as food though. I think of it as fish.
It is.
I know you can eat an eel, but I'm just saying. Egg roll and banana.
All right,
eel?
have them live. Just hanging out.
Eels
Ebenezer.
Everywhere. Entertainment Expo. They're all over the place. And they're for you to go and grab one. Yeah. that's okay. If we think about this realistically.
Edamame.
Okay, what's an E word that doesn't start with food? That's not a food that we can put in there.
That doesn't start with the food?
Damn, it doesn't start with food. What's an E word that's not a food? We have to take this seriously. This is the only way to bring back E3.
Entertainment, enjoyment.
No. That's
extracurricular.
No, you don't want to make people do homework. Homework's not fun.
Eczema.
Eczema's not fun. You want to go to the Eczema Entertainment Expo?
Echidnas.
That one's kind of good. I don't think you can bring animals into an expo. Okay.
Ethiopian expo, but that's just, again, Ethiopian food, which
that's pretty
solid.
Good. Yeah. This is so hard.
God, I haven't been to like it.
You sound so hungry right now.
I mean,
I haven't eaten dinner, so I feel you.
I haven't either, but it's also 10 o'clock, and I am not.
I'm definitely gonna go and get something to eat.
I'm controlling myself, and I did also. Only because in the last 2 days I have had a fucking birria quesadilla, and then like on Friday I did just have a whole dang Little Caesars pretzel crust pizza.
I was wondering if any of these games I had started with an E anywhere.
ECW.
You're so right. You're so right.
Yeah. Extreme.
No, just
ECW, electronic, you're gonna hire someone that looks like Taz to show up.
The Electronic Entertainment and ECW Expo. We did it. We solved it.
We're gonna have the zombie live trying out the games.
E3 featuring ECW.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ezekiel Jackson's gonna show up, and then right after Vince is like, E3 is over.
Oh God. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna make it a place where you can grab eels off the ground. Question deleted. Final question comes from Anonymous. Refresh real quick. Okay, cool. Final question comes from Anonymous. Anonymous asks, what monologue from a video game are you confident you could recite flawlessly live on air in a single take? Matt, putting you on the spot.
Nah, I don't know any.
Yeah, it's like the end of a podcast. I'm like tired. There's so many, man. I played so many games.
Like I can tell you like scenes that were very effective, but I do not know them down pat. Or like it would be, I would have to, dig far because
Yeah,
those are not
there are
the
some
ones.
there are some that are burned into my brain that I definitely remember, but like you tell me to do it, I can't think of it. It's a thing where it's like it needs to come up contextually. Hit me with some games. Let me see if I can do it.
Any from Elden Ring.
I mean, Elden. That's like kind of.
Are there any like dialogue
It's
features
not.
where
I
you're
mean,
just
yeah,
like,
there's a lot of dialogue, but it's like I'm gonna be real. Like I listened to it the first time, and then it's like I tend to skip past it most of the other times.
any of the Mass
Okay.
Effects?
Wait. I think I got it.
You got it?
I think I got Elden Ring. Don't do. I'm not gonna do Mass Effect. I haven't played
I don't
Mass
know.
Effect in years. Elden Ring. Upon my name as Ronnie the Witch, mother's rich slumber will not be disturbed by thee. Um. Shit. There's more.
That's not what she says.
It is. It's during Renala's boss fight.
No, she doesn't say shit.
I know. Spread word far and wide of the last queen of no. Spread word far and wide of the last queen of Caria, and the majesty of the night she conjureth. Yeah, let's go! Let's go! Hit me with another game.
Bloodborne.
No, dude. Wait. Okay.
Do
maybe.
Ludwig.
Oh, dude, Ludwig is so hard. Okay.
Do Ludwig.
Ludwig is. I literally just watched a friend play this again. No, I can't do Ludwig. Sorry.
Damn.
It's so hard. I know it in bits and pieces. Like I know. You were always with me, my guiding moonlight. But then
That's the part, yeah.
But there's more to it. That's all. I don't remember any more than that.
Fair enough. Yeah, no, I mean that's the other part too. Like, I don't know. I don't like automatically catalog every. There are parts of performances that definitely carry over, but it's like I could not tell you an entire like segment of it.
Like, again, there are parts that are definitely like burned into my brain from games, but like, it takes me seeing a thing many times for it to like fully click.
Like
hit me with another. I'm sure like hit me with another. Hit me with a character. See if I can do it.
they got third.
No, I don't.
You don't go there.
I'm not Oblivion now.
All right. Zavala.
No. I played Destiny, but like the talking in Destiny was not substantial enough.
When you say any game, the
Games I would play.
Arbiter.
The Arbiter?
Yeah.
Oh boy. He goes because he's getting burned.
Master Chief.
Okay, what? Okay, I can do him. Okay, Master Chief doesn't really talk though. Is the thing.
Cortana. Guilty Spark. Fucking GLaDOS. The Heavy.
Okay, Heavy.
Yeah, recite the entirety of Meet the Heavy right now.
I'm trying. I can't. It's the numbers. It's where like this bullet costs, and then like I completely forget like the actual amount that it costs.
You can't even just be like, I am heavy weapons guy,
I am heavy.
and this is my weapon.
Well, yeah,
And
obviously, but the part I'm
yeah.
thinking of this bullet costs $8 billion.
No, it's like $6,000.
It's yeah, whatever. I can't do heavy
To
weapons.
fire
Yeah.
for 12 seconds.
You're too. Go ahead.
Yeah?
Go ahead. Give me another.
Yeah. I'm thinking I'm back.
What's that
That's
supposed
me.
to be?
That's John Wick from John Wick.
Okay.
That's what's on my mind. Fucking John Wick 4. Oh. Run to the theaters to watch John Wick 4, let me tell you.
Walk and don't run.
Genuinely, I try and think about performances recently. Like, I don't know. Wait, shit. How does he go? Atreus.
You got it. Do it.
Yeah. Like, this weapon needs a blessing. Yeah, and the wish that we could have got that blessing farfed off on us. It is not the nature of the weapon. It is I can't fucking remember it, but it was a very heartfelt scene. May this weapon strike true.
What you're saying is we're not
its aim. May it rest when the job is done.
What you're saying is we're not the type of gamers to be like memorizing the lines of every single game. I'm an adult. I did that as a child. I don't anymore. There are scenes that are burned into my brain, but if I'm not actively playing or thinking about them, they have been expelled. I'm completely done with thinking about them.
I will genuinely, again, like remember moments of my favorite pieces of media, but the full-on recital of a scene does not like.
Yeah, we don't need to litigate it over and over again. It's hard. It's very hard to do.
As long as I can go, dude. Remember that time when like this shit happened? Like that stays with you.
I'm sure. Like if you prompt me, I can probably do some Metal Gear Solid 1.
It's been a while, brother.
Which part? Which?
I don't know. I never played Metal Gear Solid 1.
You're telling me you don't remember all the scenes? Like what happened? Oh my god. That's been the Video Game Choo podcast.
Colonel, we've managed to avoid drowning. Great.
True. They don't drown.
I need scissors. 61.
That's right. There is that one.
Yeah. Raiden, can you hear me? I had a strange dream last night. I was driving back home, and then the light shone by. What was it?
It was very close.
I hear it's amazing when the purple flapjaw slug from outer space with the tuning fork does a turn on Harry Carey rock. I don't.
You did that really well, actually.
I guess. If you want me to recite something, fucking here I come, rougher than the rest of them, the best of them, tougher than leather. You can call me Knuckles. Unlike Sonic, I don't chuckle. I'd rather flex my muscles. I'm hard as nails. I'm tougher to tell. Breaking down whether they solid or frail. Oh, there we go. That's born on an island in the desert. No. Yeah?
That's a Video Game Choo podcast.
The blood of my ancestors flows within me.
If you want to support us, you can go to videogamechoo.com. Patreon.com/VGCC. $3 a month gets you the Express Pass where you get content like our anime podcast a week early. Mav, what's going on in anime?
Recently we put out our episode that was just us going over the 2023 summer. No, not summer. Spring 2023, what's coming out, what we might be watching. there's much more to anticipate this summer, but there's also a lot of bad that I don't want to touch, as always.
Awesome. And if you want to come and join our Discord, you can always go to thegamezone.zone. That'll bring you to where we hang out, and you can come, just chill out. If you want to, you can go check us out on Twitter at VGCC. Tumblr.com is videogamechoo.tumblr.com. Put yourself a /ask after that to ask us a question that we will answer on this podcast. Facebook.com/videogamechoo, YouTube.com/videogamechoo, where you can go ahead and find our full video game awards show that we did just 2 weeks ago. Twitch.tv/VGChoo, where you're hopefully watching this right now. Or, if you're just listening on the podcast feed, that's cool too. And our theme song is, of course, Crush off the album Magic is Real by Melt Channel. You can check out their work at meltchannel.bandcamp.com, or their other act, Magic Circuit, at magic-circuit.bandcamp.com. Mav, where can the people find you?
People can find me on Twitter over at Mavsplaniamania. That's at MAVSPLANIAMANIA. Whenever I have something to promote, I'll make sure to promote it there. But I got a day job.
I'm FKA Socks on Twitter. We put out a very special trailer yesterday on the Golden Girls Take Manhattan DX official Twitter. It is the official gameplay reveal trailer. I piloted it. This is very fun. You should
pretty good
check that out. See how good I am at playing video game that hasn't come out yet. And you'll learn a lot about how the game plays. That is at TGGTMDX on Twitter. And America's Next Top Podcast co-host, still on hold. I put up a Patreon post not that long ago for patrons exclusively. It was the chat GPT's transcript from our holiday party episode, where at the very end of the episode we asked an AI to come up with a bunch of party games for horny elderly people on the last day of their life. And that's a fun little transcript. That's a fun little episode too. You can check that out.
That's such a great episode. You had some really special guests show up by the end.
So all the guests showed up on time. That's what's great. Including of course the voice from the girl from TikTok, who I know you are intimately familiar with.
I'm just saying, we go way back, and I'm just really glad that I could leverage those connections.
You're happy to be working with her, yeah. But yeah, that's all I'm up to. I think that's it. I think that's all I have to say about video games. That's all I have to say about podcasts. Who's streaming right now that I get to raid? I get to open up Twitch. I get to raid someone from a podcast.
There you go.
That's gonna be cool as hell. It doesn't really look like there's anyone on right now. I think you're good.
It's Sunday night.
It's Sunday night. People are probably watching WrestleMania. I think we're good to cut that off. But yeah, thanks so much for joining us. Goodbye. Good night. Bang. Chugga chugga. I'm gonna do a chugga chugga right here. So long.